Welcome back to Peek into COS. Today I'm joined by a few members of the team down at the Royal Gorge Route Railroad. I'm sitting with brand manager Carla Neilsen and engineer Adam Clawson. Welcome.
Thank you, Doug.
Nice to have you both here.
It's wonderful to be here.
Adam, I don't know that I know another engineer. I mean, what a cool job, and we're gonna talk about that. But I mean, I've met people that have been involved with the cog railway, but I've never talked with an actual engineer. So we're gonna have some fun on like how you got into that, and you know. So before we start talking about the railroad, let's definitely dive into the two of you. Let's talk about the role that you have. And Carla, let's start with you. What's your job as the brand manager?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for having us, Doug. It's really nice to be up here. So my background is in design, content creation, marketing, social media, and I do have an extensive background in the service industry, which bodes well to work at the Royal Gorge Route Railroad because we're passionate about providing exemplary customer guest experiences there.
Okay.
So as brand manager now, I have a lot of different hats, and so I am brand new to the company.
Brand
new. It's so exciting. I will tell you, one of the things that makes my job easy is the enthusiasm of the staff.
Yeah.
Everyone who works there, it's such a special place to be. And
how many people work there?
There's about 220.
Isn't that something?
Almost 300.
Wow.
Yep.
Depending on the time of year.
Yeah, of course.
When we get into the winter time around Santa Express, we do bring on more people because we're bringing on high schoolers that are working as elves.
Sure.
And a lot of other roles that need to be filled in as well.
But yeah, that's a lot of
we
people.
have guests that come from all over the world, and
absolutely.
so to be able to work there as well as be in Canyon City, because I'm a Colorado native. I grew up outside of Denver.
Yeah.
I've lived on both coasts, so I have a bit of perspective. And Canyon City is a gem in southern Colorado. It has classic Colorado feel. And all the outdoor recreation you want right at your fingertips. So it's really special there.
So for people listening who don't know where Canyon City is, tell them how far you are from Colorado Springs.
Yeah, it's just about 55 minutes straight south.
Yeah, 55 minutes south on 115.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's great. Okay. Adam, let's talk about your role as an engineer and as a background. Like, how did you get to do this?
Well, okay, I started when I was 15 for the railroad as an elf for our Santa Express train.
Cool.
The first week I was working there, I rode in the cab of an engine that we're going to, later we'll talk about, I'm sure. And I knew right then and there that I wanted to operate that engine. I wanted to be part of the train crew. I wanted to not just be part of the guest experience. I wanted to be the part of the guest experience that brings them through.
Okay.
Even more so,
my
great-grandfather worked for the railroad through the gorge.
Wow.
He started in the late 1800s. He worked through the gorge in the 1940s into the 50s before he had passed away. And so it was in my blood.
Sure.
I tell people a lot, there are rails running through my veins.
There you go. Well, so Adam, for somebody who's listening to this, who they may be older than 15, but they might have children that are that age or whatever. It sounds like your story is one that's like follow your passion, follow your dream.
I'm very passionate.
How many years have you worked at the railroad?
8.
You've worked there 8 years?
Almost 8 years.
Okay, all right. Well,
and every day, you were saying that I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
Right? When I say that I'm passionate about it, when someone comes and rides the train, I don't want them to, 10 years from now say, oh, I rode in the engine and there was this engineer and we went and we saw things. I want them 10, 15, 20 years from now to be able to say, I rode in the engine and the engineer was Adam Clawson. I want to make that impression on them. I want them to remember
That's great.
it.
You kind of make me think about, like when you're getting on an airplane, And every once in a while, you'll see somebody bring their child up to the cockpit, and the captain will, show them around and everything. And granted, they can't do it while the plane's moving.
Yep.
But in some ways, when somebody wants to get into the train, you want to make.
I'm the guy.
Yeah, you want to make that impression. I just think that's great. So let's talk history because. Colorado has this amazing history of trains. We know from research that particularly international markets, when they come and put their itineraries together, one of the important things they want to do in Colorado is have train experiences. We know it because it's big in Europe and in different parts of the world. So let's talk about the railroad itself, how it came to be, and how did it start?
Well, the tracks were laid through in 1879.
1879.
1879.
And for people who may not know this, but 1871 was the year that Colorado Springs was founded as a city. Was Canyon City already established as a city in 1879?
Yes, it was.
It was. Okay.
And that's because of the prisons that are around there. The territorial prison was also built in 1871.
Okay.
And it's called that territorial because Colorado didn't become a state until 1876.
Right.
So it was still when Colorado was a territory.
Okay.
So, that was an important factor.
Sure. And was it a family that started the train, or how the Royal Gorge Route?
The original railroads that were going through there, you had the Denver and Rio Grande, and you had the Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. And they were both trying to get, especially to Leadville, Colorado, where there was a big lead and silver boom going on. They were trying to get through there. There was a whole war over it. There was a multiple-year war getting it through there. You fast forward, the war's won. Rio Grande gets it. They pay the Santa Fe the amount of money, to pay them for what they had built.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
You go through. They build all the way up to Dot Cerro, Colorado. It's a wonderful experience.
Right.
Later on, 1900s, interstates come out.
Yep.
Airlines start taking off for America's independent travelers. Railroads start to go on the wayside. Amtrak comes out. Other railroads are shutting down. Rio Grande merges with Union Pacific, Southern Pacific, and then ultimately the line called Tennessee Pass that we are on shut down.
Okay.
And that was in 1997.
1997.
1997.
So out of business.
Yeah. Now, although that was for freight, passenger service had not been through the gorge since 1967.
Wow. Okay.
So there was a good 30 years between people being able to traverse through the Royal Gorge, out of Canyon City, go to Parkdale, see the bridge, stop at the hanging bridge.
Yeah.
See these 1,000-foot cliffs.
Sure.
For themselves,
Okay.
not just from a picture. And then 1998, we started to become a process.
An attraction.
Yeah, Union Pacific wanted to abandon the railway line.
Okay.
And they wanted to tear it up because if they were to abandon it, well, then it could go to a different railroad, and then it would be a confliction for their other lines around.
Okay.
So things start going on. STB comes in, Surface Transportation Board, says, well, you still have to save at least this section of track, the 12 miles that we run on now. Says, it has to go out to a certain amount of people. Different, companies had bid in to getting that line.
Okay.
But our ownership at the time, this would have been the railroad they started, the Royal Gorge Route, was their third railroad.
Got it. Okay.
So they already had experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would have gone to them.
Okay. Interesting.
And so they started that in 98, got everything going, first revenue trip in 99.
Okay. So, Adam, thank you for that. That's neat. And Carla, I'm guessing that as a longtime Coloradan, you had heard of the railroad, right?
I had heard of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there are people who call it the most scenic train ride in North America, right?
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. So for people who are listening who have never done a train like this before, talk about the experience of what it's like to, go alongside the Arkansas River and see
absolutely.
whitewater rafters and all that. Yeah.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt rode through there on a train twice.
Wow.
And what he said of the trip through the Royal Gorge route was that what was the quote? It's
it bankrupts the English language.
Oh, wow.
It bankrupts the English language. That experience leaves you speechless in essence. Mm-hmm. So, I can attempt to paint a picture.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're on the train, you just had a delicious meal, you have a drink in your hand, and you step out onto the open air train cart, and you look up at these immense cliffs on either side of you, 1,000 feet up. There's these sheer rock walls just climbing into the sky.
Yeah.
You have the rushing Arkansas River alongside of you, and that's class 5 rapids.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the sunlight glinting off the rocks and the water, and a feeling of wonder just washes over you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a connection, it's a reconnection with nature, with the absolute glory of being at a natural spectacle, such as it is. It's a reset of your nervous system, being near the water and the immensity of those cliffs.
Yeah.
And it's a reconnection with your friends and your family whom you're with. Yeah. There's no cell service through the gorge, so you're unplugged, but you're reconnected in other ways.
Yeah.
It's what we need right now. We need to take trips like this. And as much as you see the beautiful pictures and video, it's like when you see the moon and the moon looks so epic. When you take a picture and you look at it on your phone and it doesn't quite match that magic. Well, you just have to be there. You have to be at the gorge to experience it. It's absolutely incredible.
Carla should be the brand manager.
She should.
She really should.
So I'm going to call your boss.
Yeah. So I will tell you this, that when I first moved to Colorado Springs in 2011, one of the suggestions that was made for me to, because I'd never lived here before, and they said, Doug, you need to go down and take the train, and it turns out it was my birthday that we did it. So our kids were visiting, and my wife and I, we went down and we did lunch on the train. And I'll never forget it because as you were just describing it, literally I was having flashbacks to thinking about, wow, we live here. We get to talk about something like this. And it really is one of the most unique experiences that people can have when they come to the Pikes Peak region. And so thank you for doing such a great job of painting the picture, because I just think it's awesome. And one of the things that I do remember for sure that day was that was the first time I'd ever seen bighorn sheep.
Yeah.
You don't see them necessarily every time, but sure enough, it was like, look.
There's always something to see.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. Been there 8 years. I see it every day.
Every trip.
But there's always something different.
Yeah.
But if it's bighorn sheep, we've seen bear.
Okay,
You see the great blue heron. Certain times of the year, we're seeing bald eagles.
Yeah.
You're seeing rafters. You're seeing the zip lines. You're seeing... There's just always something to see.
So touch on the zip line for a second, because there may be people that are like, oh, well, what do you mean? I thought we were talking about a train. Talk about the zip line for a second.
That is one of the most amazing things to see. Yeah. I personally believe from the train. I mean, the views and it all. You're looking up at these super tall cliffs, and then all of a sudden you see a person way up there.
Yeah.
The same, just with the birds.
And you're going under the bridge. We're talking about the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park, and it's all part of the experience.
It's magical.
Only there.
It just keeps. You think, okay, this is cool, and then something cooler happens. Yeah. And then something cooler happens. You're getting the amazing food.
Right.
We've got 5 onboard kitchens and bars. So your food's coming out hot, your drinks are coming out cold.
Yeah.
You're out
Except
there,
the
like
coffee.
she said, except the coffee. Yeah, like she said on the open air car.
We have a fantastic wine list as well as
absolutely.
local craft beers.
So it's very
Even one named
much.
after ourselves.
Oh, do you have one?
The Royal Gorge Route Red.
Oh, there you go. Okay. That I'm there.
We got his interest now.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I think that let's talk a little bit about some of the options that people have from a food and beverage standpoint, because there will be listeners who have people of all ages in their party, if you will. Okay, so let's talk about the food experiences, and let's talk about the length of time. You talked about 12 miles,
Yes.
and let's talk about from start to finish what the experience is like and how long it will take.
Yeah, so our food is fresh casual. You know, we have everything from salads to burgers to paninis. We also offer wonderful breakfast items on the breakfast trains. And we have seasonal events too, where we offer special menu offerings. Upcoming, we have St. Patty's Day. We're going to have a hearty Irish stew, green beer, and black and tans. That's going to be fun. And yeah, the food's great. It's
yeah.
you know, it's kind of a feat really to have a rolling restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You
The
know,
Vista
there's-
Dome, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Vista Dome.
Yeah, so the Vista Dome is part of our 3 classes of seating.
Okay.
We have the coach, which you have high-backed cushioned chairs, very comfortable picture windows. Then we have deluxe after that, which is more tabled seating. So if you have a party of 4, you want to sit around a table,
Yep.
has a little bit more room to move around. And then we have the Vista Dome, and that's going to be the curved windows. And so more of a panoramic view up there. Now, you
Sure.
do have to go up some steps to get there.
Okay.
So that's not wheelchair accessible. But all of the classes have access to the open air cars, which of course
Absolutely.
have the full unobstructed view.
Sure.
And then the fourth offering would be the ride with the engineer,
engineer.
in the cabin, which we'll get to.
That's
Okay.
me.
Yeah, that's like going to the chef's table.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long is a ride?
2 hours.
It's 2 hours from the time you get on to the time you get off. You
And
block out
there's
2 hours.
some play in there, like our 6:30 twilight trains. Those are a little bit longer.
Okay.
Traditionally, just because we're giving people a little bit more time to eat their dinners.
Sure.
You know, in the past we have our first class dinner trains, so they're eating prime rib and salmon and all that stuff. I mean, we're really trying to let people
Right.
just enjoy their meals.
Well, Adam, let's talk about where it just gets really narrow.
Absolutely.
You know, and I don't know how wide, but I just remember it's like, oh my,
So,
this is a little.
When you
How
leave,
wide is it?
When you leave, the narrowest point is 35 feet from wall to wall.
Okay.
And almost 1,400 feet up.
Wow. Okay.
And that's where the hanging bridge is happening.
That's where the hanging bridge is. So let's talk about the hanging bridge.
The hanging bridge was built by, his name was Charles Smith.
Okay.
Okay, C. Schaller Smith. Charles Schaller Smith. And he was employed by the Atchison Peak and the Santa Fe to build a bridge through there.
Okay.
You know, especially when it was built, it was an awe factor. Before the Royal Gorge Bridge was there, the hanging bridge was there.
Got it.
You know, the hanging bridge was built in 1879, and it's still the original bridge today.
Okay.
It's a 175-foot long steel plate girder suspension bridge, and it uses A-frame girders
Okay.
that wedge us into the wall and suspend us above the river as we go along. When it was built 1879, it was a 20-90 split, meaning 10% was on ground, 90% was hanging above the river.
Wow.
Today, because of the weight, the weight increases, width increase, height increase,
Yep.
all of that.
Okay.
It's a 50-50 split now.
All right. Okay.
So, but it's still the same bridge today. It's it's constantly being inspected, and it still holds its A+ rating. So that's wonderful.
I love that.
And it was built for $12,000 in 1879.
1879. Yeah, that was a lot of money.
Yeah,
A lot of money
and it's
back
the only
then.
reason why the tracks are able to go through there.
Yeah. Okay.
And the train does stop at the hanging
does.
bridge on the way back. Stops, gives everybody a chance to get out. And,
Okay.
you
Get their
know,
last pictures.
Yeah.
And pay tribute to all the other passenger trains that were there long before us that would stop. That's where Teddy Roosevelt stopped.
Got it.
He's got a picture sitting there. The Sky Sox or the White Sox. Yeah, the White Sox. They stopped there.
No.
They're a woman gave birth to a child on that bridge.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like it's,
Yeah.
People always stop there.
But back in the day.
Way back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
no.
Oh, and
Got
I
it.
do want to clarify, you can't actually get off the
No,
train
you
if
can't.
that's what I had said. But yeah, we stop there at least, and you can move about.
Yeah.
All right, so we're recording this in March of 2025, and there is a pretty special part of history that is being celebrated down, and this is around the 403 engine's return.
Yes.
So, Adam, just tell listeners a little bit about what's going on with the 403.
It's special, Doug.
Mm-hmm.
It's special.
Okay.
I already told you that's the first engine I ever rode in.
Yeah.
Within us, just climbing up in there, I was hooked. That engine was built in December of 1949. This year it will be 76 years old.
Okay.
It's part of what's called the F Series,
All right.
which were the F7s, which is what it is. We're very famous for, the Santa Fe had them. They were called their Super Chiefs.
Yep.
Santa Fe Super Chiefs. This particular engine was built for the Chicago and Northwestern.
Okay.
1876, this engine 1879,
Okay.
that engine and its sister that we have, the 402, became part of the executive fleet.
Okay.
They went on, they pulled a lot of important trains
All right.
with, in my opinion, the most important being our first train through the gorge.
Sure. Yeah.
They bought that engine in 98, and its sister 402.
Okay.
And it pulled the train for many, many years.
Right.
But being as old as it was, right, it needs maintenance.
It
needs
happens
some
to
help.
all of us.
We'd also gotten some other engines, and they
Right.
were, hey, let's make sure these things are solid for the summer to pull us.
Yeah.
And then it came time to get them ready.
Right.
And when it was time, there wasn't a single person in our maintenance shops that wasn't involved in helping to get them ready. And when it was time, everybody was excited. We're talking about it now. We had the news was there. The Daily Record was
Okay.
down doing an article on the engines. We've had people. I know people that are flying in from Australia to do a cab ride on this engine.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, when we brought the locomotive to the tracks to link it up, there was a welcoming party
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
People,
Yeah.
fans.
Mhm.
We had the fan.
Everything from, the youngest kid that was there, I think, was 6, all the way up to people that were in their 80s.
Yeah.
That remember these engines
The
when they
train
were.
enthusiasts.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they look good.
Okay.
They sound good. They match the fleet. They're streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves that look. You look at our logo, or you look up Royal Gorge Route Railroad on the internet.
Yep.
When the first things you're going to see is the 403.
I love it. So what we're really doing here before we start to wrap is that we really are recommending to people, whether you live in the Pikes Peak region and it's been years since you've been down there, or if you're a visitor looking and you're still putting your itinerary together, we really want people to know that yes, this train needs to be part of your itinerary.
Absolutely.
But being 55 minutes straight south of Colorado Springs, we always talk about like the hub and spoke. Is that there
Yes.
will be a lot of people who will stay here in Colorado Springs and they'll go up to Pikes Peak and they'll do the zoo and they'll do those different things. But really planning an itinerary for the Royal Gorge region,
Yes.
down in Canyon City, whether you are a whitewater rafter or you're more comfortable going across a bridge and seeing the prisons, and it's just, there is a full itinerary of things to do down there.
Yes.
And we highly recommend it. So before we wrap, I want to take a second to talk about some exciting news from Visit COS. Our 2025 official vacation planner is now live. Our team works in partnership with the Pikes Peak Region Attractions to put together this free planning resource each year. This year invites visitors to put together their perfect Colorado Springs mixtape, checking out offerings of new and old music. Pick up your free copy at our visitor center or order it online at visitcos.com/plan. Okay, so here's what we're going to do to wrap. Before we go, we've got 3 questions to ask that we ask all of our guests. And I think based on the history that the two of you have, this will be fun. So I guess, Carla, I'm going to start with you. In 3 words, how would you describe Colorado Springs?
Oh, the Springs itself.
Colorado Springs.
Oh my gosh, honestly.
Oh my gosh is 3 words.
Oh my gosh. I might not be the best person to answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah.
Adam, what about you?
Busy, fun, and exciting.
Busy, fun, and exciting. All right. Carla, I'm going to come back to you with another question that's more about the region, the Pikes Peak region, okay? Mm-hmm. What would you tell listeners is like your favorite hidden gem? Where's your place in the region that you like to go?
Well, now, okay, forgive me, but the region, how far does that span?
It's from Pikes Peak down to Canyon City to Colorado Springs.
Okay, well, I'm a little biased. I mean, at the Royal Gorge.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's,
but beyond the train, let's just
Okay.
say when
Yes.
when you're not
This is
working,
for-
when you're not
This is
working,
for everybody just planning any.
yeah,
any
like
type of
where
trip.
where's your place to go?
you know, I'm pretty new to the area, honestly.
Okay.
I'm like brand new. So the things that I love about the area are that there is recreation right at your fingertips.
Yep.
There is hot springs. There is fly fishing. There is rafting.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay to park in most of the spots, you know? And to
Yeah.
me, that feels like a classic Colorado experience.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's a lot of hubbub going up north. There's a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
Come down to the Pikes Peak region, to southern Colorado,
Yeah.
and experience Colorado at its best.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's really happening right here.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
So Adam, what about you? Where's your getaway go-to place?
I really, really, really enjoy Garden of the Gods.
Do you? Okay. Yeah. There's no place
know,
quite
I
like
mean,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
On-
For hiking.
Other than, of course, like
Yeah.
she said, the gorge. You know, I've gone to the gorge many a times for different things.
Okay.
But you get, you know, I like that thrill of that, you know, that adventure. I like being around the mountains, and so Garden of the Gods is a good one. Up on top of Pikes Peak, that's a great one.
Yeah.
You know, you see all the way to Kansas from up there.
That's it on a good day like today.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap it with. I'll stay with you, Adam, as it relates to a bucket list.
Okay.
Is there something that you have not done that you will just admit that I have always thought about going to do this and I haven't done it? What's still on your bucket list?
I've got 2 that I want to mark off.
Okay.
I want to go to the cliff dwellings
Want to go? Okay. In Manitou Springs.
in Manitou Springs.
Yes.
And I would also really enjoy to go rafting through the gorge.
Oh, you've never whitewater rafted
never.
through the gorge?
Nope.
Well, there's
I'm
a
always on the
confession
train.
that I wasn't
I'm
expecting.
always on the train.
That's great. Okay, so
I
there's
see it, but
there's a
I've never
flat
done
out
it.
confession
Yeah.
of doing that. So, Carla, your bucket list would probably be large, but let's just say what would be maybe the next thing that you'd really like to go do?
I want to find the secret fly fishing spots
Okay.
on the Arkansas.
Okay.
Yeah, I know there's some real good
They're
honey
in
holes
there.
out there.
They're in there.
The fish are hungry.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Tell listeners, to wrap it, where they can follow you, where they can get all their information about Book the Train.
That's for her.
Absolutely. Well, our website is the royalgorgeroute.com.
The Royal Gorge Route.com.
It's actually Royal Gorge Route.
No, the Royal Gorge
Sorry
Ridge
about that.
Bridge, Royal Gorge
Route.
Route.com.
.com.
Okay.
And we are on Instagram and Facebook as well. If you just search Royal Gorge Route, we'll pop up. And you will find lodging and dining as well
Yes.
Yep.
on those sites.
Okay.
So, we'll take care of you. If you have questions, please call us. Our reservationists are amazing. They'll answer all the
absolutely.
questions.
Love it.
Help you out.
Love it.
Because a lot of people have questions. I mean, it is a bit of a journey.
Oh, absolutely.
And we highly encourage you to take the adventure and get speechless with us.
Yeah, and when you get there, look for Adam.
Yes.
And you'll make it a memory.
And like she said, if you got questions, call, because I don't know how many times we'll get people that are trying to ride the train and they end up at the bridge or somewhere else and they're not where they need. So just call.
There you go. There you go. Carla, Adam, thank you both for joining us today. And I hope that our listeners will realize that this is really a once in a lifetime experience. And I think it's one of the reasons why we have so many repeat visitors who come to the region, because they realize they can't do it in a day.
No.
You come down and you can just spend a full day in Canyon City alone.
Yep.
So thank you, and we'll look forward to seeing you down there.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug.